Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting or reviewing a new movie and it's called Last to Marry. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you haven't, then you're in the right place. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Pastor Grace. You can call me PG. I make beautiful, wonderful, inspiring content on all things womanhood, talking about our femininity, talking about godly relationships, career, finance, our social lives, just everything that has to do, with womanhood. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. It supports it and it pushes the channel out there. So please like and subscribe. So let's get into the movie. So the movie is called Last to Marry, and it is a film by Laju Iren Films on YouTube. So I'm going to link the video in the description box so that if you haven't watched it, you can go on right ahead and watch it after you watch this review, of course. So it's a faith-based love story about our main character, Abidemi. She's a lawyer and she is very single. She has two best friends who are married, and I think one of them has kids already. So I think that tells you like the kind of world and what Abidemi's life is like. And so it definitely seems like she is indeed the last to marry. So on a certain day, she prays quite an interesting prayer to the Lord. Like she gave the Lord an ultimatum, like, if you be God, if you be God. You know those kind of prayers.
People younger than me are married. God, I have kept myself. I'm tired, God. If truly you are God, I must marry before I turn 34. God, if truly you are God, I must meet my husband this week. This is the week, God.
So she said, if God be God, she must meet her husband this week. And then, like clockwork, the very next day, she meets this young, supposedly charming man of God called Amata. So Amata comes to rent an office space in a building that she lets. And at first, she didn't pay much attention to him, but he woos her. They start talking, one thing leads to another, and the rest they say is history. But is it though? Because the story, it didn't go so well. But we'll get into it. Now, happening pari passu, her law firm takes on a new client who happens to be her senior from secondary school, senior TJ. It's always them. It's always a senior TJ. You just know it's them. Now, senior TJ is a Muslim man whose religion permits him to have more than one wife. And so our Abidemi is being asked, to be his second wife. And I know you're thinking, what? Sister Abidemi, you cannot seriously be thinking about doing this. Well, Senior TJ was very convincing and he just seemed like, every girl's dream come true, so you can't really blame Sister Abidemi. But anyway, let's get into my main commentary review reaction. Let's get into it. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, or you've been considering watching it, then please, by all means, trust me, it is worth watching. So right now at this point, I'm giving you a spoilers alert. So there's going to be spoilers in the rest of this video. And if you're like me and spoilers doesn't really stop you from watching a movie, then welcome, my dear friend. So, I'm going to be reacting to some parts of the movie. I'm going to talk about like lessons learned and just some vital points that are worth taking note of, throughout the movie. So, yeah, let's get into it.
This man. Wait, what are you up to? What do you want?
So the thing is, I am not a time waster. There's something I want, I go after it. Well, in this case, someone. And I'm not the most patient guy.
I can see that. You're not patient.
So when I saw this particular scene, what I took note of is that Emma will always make his intentions clear. And Amata is not the best person I'd have loved to use for this example, but it still, showcases what I'm saying, which is that a man will make his intentions clear. He came and he told her that this is what he wants. He wants her, if Abidemi will not go to the mountain will go to Abidemi. So I always say this, like, a man will tell you what his intentions are. And when he tells you, you best believe him. Because he then added that he's not very patient. And, that should have been a red flag already. Like, when I was watching it, I saw it and I just thought, okay, what do you mean you're not very patient? Like, man of God, emoji, what are you saying? Because love is patient, and that is something that your recreated human spirit is supposed to have. You're supposed to be a patient person. So this one that you're already telling us that you're not patient, I would have just said, listen, we're just gonna put you on probation. We'll just be observing you. But that statement, it will be remembered and it will be taken as a warning sign, because he told her clearly that he's not patient. So yeah, she should have believed. So I said a man will always state his intentions, and when he does, believe him. If he's telling you that, see, right now I don't really have time for a relationship, I just want, something, I just want friendship, I'm trying to focus on my career. Auntie, believe. My sister, believe. Don't sit down there thinking, okay, I'll just give him 2 months. I know that he's busy right now, but eventually, if he has told you, just believe him. And put some respect on your name and move. It must not be with this one fellow. So I just used that to make that point. But Amata was not like the prime example, but at least he made his intentions known to her. Like, so she knew he was serious. But that seriousness, it came with some serious basketballs. Next thing that I noted was that red flags are always there. They are always there. And sometimes I think we just choose to ignore them.
Like, we've heard so much about you, so it was really nice meeting you in person. And it's not as troublesome as you say.
Oh, it's troublesome. Maybe because it's the first time he's talking to you. Okay, so, huh, babe, I was going to say goodbye to.
What was that about?
I just wanted to.
I'm talking to you now. What was that about?
Oh,
No, so this is how you go about bad mouthing me to your friends.
I no, I don't.
No, what? No, I'm out of here. That's why it's been so hard for you to find a man.
So we can see how he handled this situation, because of how she was talking to her friends about him and saying he was troublesome, and he took great offense to that. Now, I'm not saying, her telling her friends that he's troublesome was, the most wonderful thing to do, but how he handled it was not excellent at all, and that should have been a major warning flag, a red sign that, there's an issue here, because that's is that how you handle matters as the husband? You're supposed to go all out in your love for your wife. So even if what she did was not right, you could have just like pretended on the phone, yeah, I'll talk to you later, it was lovely meeting you girls. When she ends the call, babe, it was lovely meeting your friends, but I didn't quite like the way you were saying to them that I'm troublesome. I thought that was a bit disrespectful, and I would appreciate if you change the manner in which you talk to your friends about me. We don't want them. I don't think you want your friends being overly familiar with me. And we don't want disrespect to set in, so I just think you should apply some caution when you're talking about me to your friends. In our marriage, we would need to have our privacy. You handle the matter like a man that cares, like a man that loves, like a man that has wisdom, not like this, just grabbing her phone. If he's grabbing phone now, he's going to be grabbing other things. Grab hair, grab neck, grab. I mean, come on, that should have been a major warning flag. I was at a program earlier, and someone had asked a question, and the answer I had given, I had talked about discernment, and he was trying to say that not every Christian has the spirit of discernment. And I was like, well, we all have the Holy Spirit, and He is the spirit of counsel. He is constantly counseling us. That is the job of the Holy Spirit. His ministry in our lives is to make a success out of us in every area of our lives, and that includes your relationship and your marriage. So he's constantly giving counsel, he's constantly helping you to discern. The question is whether or not you will listen, whether or not you will be willing to admit that, okay, this is a warning sign and I need to take action on this warning sign for my benefit. Because while you're single, you're exactly that. You're single. So you have to, think about you and think about yourself and not put yourself at the mercy of somebody else because you are in love with them or they say they are in love with you. That's not what love is. And I feel like sometimes as women, we try to convince ourselves that, okay, don't worry, he will change. I know how to handle him. No, it was me. Imagine Abidemi saying it was me and how I was talking about him. If I didn't do that, he wouldn't have reacted like that. He's a free moral agent. He has his individual character independent of what it is that you did. And so that's why in that period of courting or dating, you have to be very observant, observe everything and ignore nothing. So if this is his character, this is how he chose to handle the situation, that should tell you something. You don't need to try to convince yourself. Sometimes you got to be logical and use your brain and examine the matter for what it really is. Even if it has been several years in, you just have to think about yourself and think about your life and be honest with yourself. Sometimes you ask yourself, what kind of marriage, what kind of life do I want to have? Anyway, after this, Senior TJ starts Senior TJing in her life, if you get what I mean. He starts just doing everything right. He just seems perfect. He's a well established man. He talks a good game, corresponding action. He listens, he cares. He's a mover and a shaker. He makes things happen. And he just comes off like a hero, especially amidst every other nonsense thing that Amata is doing. He just seems like, Amata, you should go and see what your mate is doing. So that was just how, he seemed.
Hello, BA. I would like to take Bidemi home. She feels sick.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
I'm okay.
It's okay, I'll take you home, Bidemi.
No, honestly, I'm okay.
Bidemi, I'll drive you home, okay? My driver will just drive behind. Back in the days when boys used to use kettle to make noodles. Well, it's really nice, trust me. I've always been a good chef. You want to try it?
Thank you.
Yeah, you'd like it.
Oh my God. You said me 500K, you this man. Hey God. What am I supposed to do with this money?
Just call it rest allowance.
See, I don't even know what to say to you right now. Thank you. But can't take this money, so I have to return it back to you because I'm seeing someone here.
And then we see another major green flag that I want to, touch on. Again, not that these men are the prime examples, but it is the actions that they took that we are examining here. One beautiful thing that he did that, I think is something to not ignore is that he kept his word. He told her that he was going to check back on her, and he did just that. And, that's beautiful. Sometimes for some people talk is cheap. They just say things, oh, I'll call you later. Oh, don't worry, I'll check on you, I'll check on you. And you're expecting them to actually do that because you're thinking, I believe you're going to keep to your word. So I thought that was a beautiful green flag, to take note of. And now, as the movie proceeds, Amata is getting increasingly red flaggy. He cuts her off, as in no communication. If I were Abidemi, as you have stopped communicating with me, that's how you have gone out of my life. Because why, bro? Why? Anyway, he stopped communicating with her, and then when he now came back, see how he came back.
No wife of mine would dress up like a pro.
Wife? Did you say wife?
saw this one day and I was like, why not? I mean, it's not like she deserves it, but that's not the point. The point is, I know what God told me to do. So I won't mind your bad behavior. Wear it.
Say you don't deserve it. I'm just giving it to you. Say because the Lord said, there's some things you should just not do in the name of the Lord. And then that brings me to a very important point, especially for the women. Enduring hardship in a courtship or like in your relationship in dating is not a proof that you're a virtuous woman or that you're a good woman or that you're going to be faithful to your husband. It's not by enduring hardship. Don't, it's not, the Lord is not trying to train you. That is not God's ideal or God's idea or plan for marriage. So, like I said earlier, when you're single, you are precisely that. You are single. If you're not married, you are single. It's as simple as that. So, even if you and this person are already talking marriage and he's treating you like this, and even telling you that it's the Lord that told him to do this to you, don't you know your God? That's my question. Don't you know your God? Is this the God you know? Is this the love of God that is shed abroad in our hearts that you know? And then the God that you know, that has good thoughts towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. Is he the one that will be saying, no, just endure, let this man be doing you like this, doing you like that? Is the Lord trying to teach you a lesson? It is not consistent with God's character. It is not consistent with the life that God has given you. You that the Lord Jesus Christ came and died for, did everything he did for you. Then you now say this is how he wants to use this relationship to teach you a lesson in humility. So this one that he's playing the God card, I think that was what he had her. He used that to have her by a chokehold. It's because God told me to be in this relationship with you, and you are treating me like this. Go back and go and tell that your own God that I'm unavailable, because that's not the God me I know. It's as simple as that. Everybody should know their God, though, and act accordingly. The suffering that you're suffering now is going to be amplified in marriage. He's not going to change. So, what kind of marriage do you want to have? That's a question that you really need to ask yourself and have an answer, right? It's not just whatever, you just want to have a wedding. What kind of marriage do you want to have? And that's something that our main character, Abidemi, did for herself. She was able to visualize what life for her would be like married to this particular person. And I don't think a lot of women do that enough. Or maybe we or maybe we do, but not with the kind of severity with which it ought to be done. You see, because men tend to, they really think far into the future of what life would be like with this woman. But sometimes some women, they just think about, okay, I already know where I want to do my wedding. I already know which vendor I'm going to get my dress from. I already know my ashobi. I already know it's going to be on my bridal train. Or that's all they've thought about. And then they've also pictured how, couple goes online, oh my gosh, when they go out with friends now, oh, guys, stop. Stop. They've pictured everything, but they've not thoroughly thought, used the power of their mind to travel into the future and say, okay, what will marriage with this particular person be like? Not what will marriage, when you've just sat down, you've just thought about what marriage will be like. That's another one. But now you gotta ask yourself, what will marriage with this particular person be like for me? You see, you gotta approach it like a strategic business move. What is it gonna be like for me, for my future children, for my generation. So thankfully, Abidemi was able to do that for herself. She was able to envision what life would be like, if she were married to Amata and if she became Senior TJ's second wife. And thankfully, she was able to tell herself the truth, or well, at least partly, because she ends up going to her pastor for counseling. But like, not just counseling, she wanted her pastor to tell her which of the two options she should choose, sort of saying these are her only two options because she must marry now. She must marry this year. So she wanted her pastor to just tell her, okay, which one is a lesser evil out of the two evils? Basically, that was what she wanted to know. And, that takes me to the final session with Pastor Laju, which was absolutely so inspiring. I would have loved to play the complete clip here, but I want you to go and watch it in the movie because it was such an inspiring session with so many apt points that if you can just heed that counsel, you'll be better off for it. But I'll touch on a few things she said. She made mention that it's better to be late on your own calendar and be on time in God's calendar. Because Abidemi wanted to get married and she wanted to get married now. But that was on her own calendar, on the calendar of those around her, the life she's accustomed to. But truly, it's better to be late as to what your own calendar looks like and be right on time with God's own calendar. And then she also touched on the fact that you don't need to get married to start fulfilling your purpose. Abidemi had a dream that she wanted to accomplish with her husband. She had that dream since she was 16 and she was doing nothing about it because she was busy spending her single period waiting. So the time you're single is not necessarily a waiting period. It's a time for you to quite literally live your life. Do what it is that you're meant to do. Discover your purpose and be busy fulfilling it. And then when you want to get married, your purpose is what will even be a factor when determining who it is that you're going to marry. How are they going to be able to help you with your purpose? How are they going to amplify your purpose? Are they going to support your purpose? Do they believe in your God given purpose and destiny? So, what are you doing now while you're single? There was a post that I made on Instagram, and in there I was saying that, Proverbs 31 talks about the virtuous woman. She's a virtuous woman, not just a virtuous wife. She, as a woman, was a woman of virtue. So, you don't need to get married to become a virtuous woman. You, as you are, as yourself, ought to be a virtuous woman. And then when you get married, your husband will enjoy the wonderful virtuous woman that you are and you be a virtuous wife. And one final point that I think is so important, it's much better to marry well, to marry right, than to marry early. Because this marriage is not a 2 month race. It's not just so you can say, okay, you've done it, or because you want to have a luxury wedding. It's just plan to marry well. It is better to remain single than to enter into a bad marriage with the wrong person. All right. So, in conclusion, I just wanted to say that the things that were depicted in the movie, you might think, oh, there's no way it's happening. It's really happening. It's really happening to a lot of Christian singles. Like, it is a real thing. Like, even I could relate to certain aspects of Abidemi's life, like with the two options that were before her, and it was like having to choose the lesser evil. So it's really happening. And if there's things happening in your relationship that are a warning flag, are a red sign. By the way, I have a video where I talk about some major warning signs, some red flags when you're considering that, okay, I want to marry this person. If you see these warning signs, better vamoose while you are still single and not yet married to that person. So you can watch that video, it's on my channel. But if you're in a relationship and somebody is displaying red flags, don't say it's unique to you, nobody else understands your case. No, we may be unique individuals, but some things are still common ground, and red flags are common ground. They are the same, they are easily identifiable. It's just if you choose to see them. So don't think nobody will understand your man like you can handle him, you'll be fine. Trust me, you don't want to cope through marriage. Marriage is not something to cope through. So, finally, I just wanted to say that with wanting to marry, please don't let it cross over to a point of desperation. It shouldn't cross over to desperation. You should want the best for yourself because you are worthy of the best. And, like I always say, be wise, be very wise, be prudent when it comes to this matter of marriage. Be very meticulous about it and about the choice that you make because it is a major life changing choice. So don't let family and society pressure you. The people that are pressuring you, they are not going to live inside the marriage with you now. So uh, how you will have to handle the pressure, but don't let the pressure you. Anyway, it's a really great movie. Overall, the production quality, the acting of the actors, um, from a viewer's point of view, it was a pleasant movie to watch. So I'm not trying to give any technical review on the actual production of the movie, but it was a good one. It was interesting to watch. It was engaging. And if you haven't watched it yet, I definitely recommend you watch, especially the ending part. In fact, the entire thing, let me not just say the ending part. But yeah, it was a really good movie. So definitely please do watch it. So thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please do give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It helps, boost the channel. It helps keep it moving and, it helps the channel to grow. So please do subscribe. Be sure to check out other videos on my channel. I promise you will be glad that you did. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.